Millionaire laughed at Black Girl's translation until she revealed her incredible hidden talent. Aisha stood in front of the grand conference hall, her heart thumping like a drum. Executives in tailored suits passed by, their laughter echoing off the marble floors, as she adjusted her blouse nervously. Today was supposed to be her big moment translating for a high-stakes business conference featuring some of the wealthiest people in the country. But she wasn't just nervous. She felt the weight of judgment hanging over her, like a dark cloud threatening rain. Just the day before, a millionaire had looked down at her, smug and condescending, as if her dreams were nothing but dust in the wind. "A girl like you," he had sneered, making the air thick with unspoken prejudices. But today, she had no room for despair. She was here to prove him wrong. Her vibrant neighborhood in Atlanta was a canvas painted with culture, love, and hardship. The murals around her spoke stories, just as the music in her veins told of resilience and hope. Aisha had always dreamed big. Her mother worked 2 jobs to keep a roof over their heads, and the lessons of hard work were embedded deep within her. She longed to show the world that her dreams weren't just fantasies, but valid aspirations. In her dimly lit bedroom, she found peace in music. Late at night, when the world quieted down, she wrote lyrics that pulsated with joy, pain, and the vibrant heartbeat of her community. Each rap was a piece of her soul. But with every line she crafted, memories of the millionaire's laughter echoed in her mind. Still, she held on to the encouragement from her family and friends, fueling her fire to rise above the sneers. As the conference day arrived, Aisha took a deep breath and entered the high-tech venue, a place that felt worlds away from her neighborhood. The glitzy lights and polished decor seemed to mock her existence, each face she passed reflecting doubt. But then the technical issues hit. Microphones crackled, screens went dark, and the atmosphere shifted from anticipatory chatter to restless murmurs. In that moment, Aisha's heart soared. This was her chance. Stepping up to the stage, she felt the collective gaze pin her in place. Part of her wanted to run, to escape this judgment-laden space. But something deeper urged her on. "You've got this," her inner voice chirped, and she seized the microphone. Instead of just translating, she let her song spill out. Words flowed in English and other languages, weaving her story of struggle and triumph. It began quietly, her voice hesitant, but with every bar it grew bolder. Solidarity swelled in her rhythm, as the audience transformed from skeptical to captivated. The energy shifted, laughs turned into gasps, shock morphed into appreciation, and even the millionaire's smile froze. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As her final note hung in the air, applause erupted like thunder. Aisha's heart raced with hope, yet doubt still tugged at her. Would this moment truly change minds, or was it merely a fleeting spectacle? She stole a glance at the millionaire, whose expression had shifted from amusement to disbelief. He seemed to realize the power of her voice and the story behind it. Aisha had awakened something in him, but the larger battle for acceptance still lay ahead. This was just the beginning, and she could feel the undercurrents of change start to swirl. Would she manage to seize this moment and carve her place in the world? Only time would tell. The applause felt like a wave washing over Aisha, drowning out her doubts. She raised her hands in acknowledgement, letting the energy of the crowd fill her. Deep down, she hoped this would mark a turning point not just for her, but for everyone who felt overlooked or underestimated. As she stepped away from the stage, adrenaline coursed through her veins. Her mind raced, thinking of what came next. The executives who had once seen her as just a girl from the other side of town now wore expressions of interest and curiosity. Among them, the millionaire, who moments ago had laughed at her, now stood with a newfound respect. She couldn't help but wonder if his perception had shifted. Could he finally see her potential? Her daydreaming was interrupted by a gentle tap on her shoulder. Turning around, she faced a tall man with slick-back hair and an expensive watch. "That was incredible," he said, his smile wide and genuine. "I'm Marcus. I work with a lot of artists in the industry, and I think you have a real gift." Aisha couldn't believe it. This was the kind of encounter she had dreamed about. "Thank you," she managed to reply, trying to keep the excitement from bubbling over. "I just wanted to share my story." "Exactly. Stories are what drive people," he said, leaning in slightly as if drawing her into his confidence. "Would you consider collaborating on a project? I think we could create something powerful together." The offer sent her head spinning. Just a few moments ago, she was simply a translator, and now, potential doors were appearing, wide open and inviting. But doubt crept in again. Did she have what it takes? Could she really make it in an industry that felt so daunting? Before Aisha could answer, Marcus continued, "Don't think too hard about it. Believe in yourself. Look at what you just did on that stage. You captivated everyone's attention. You have something to say, and the world needs to hear it." Her heart leapt at the thought. Could this really be her moment? She felt the weight of her community behind her, urging her to step forward. "Yes, I would love to. What do you have in mind?" Aisha asked, wanting to sound confident despite the fluttering in her stomach. "Let us start with a small showcase. Invite your friends, your community. Let us show them what we can create together," he replied, his eyes glinting with excitement. Before Aisha could get too lost in her thoughts, a familiar voice cut through the crowd. It was her best friend, Tia, rushing toward her, eyes wide. "Aisha, did you see everyone out there? You were amazing," she explained, throwing her arms around Aisha in an embrace, lifting her spirit even higher. As they pulled away, Tia's expression changed to one of awe. "And look, there's your song playing on the speakers. Everyone is talking about it." Aisha turned, and indeed, snippets of her melody floated in the air. She couldn't believe it. A part of her was echoing in the very venue that had seemed so threatening just hours ago. The crowd was now changing. People who had previously dismissed her were now lining up to speak to her, intrigued and impressed. Aisha felt a fire ignite within. Maybe she could be more than just a translator. She could influence change, tell stories, and inspire those around her. But just as hope filled her lungs, she spotted the millionaire standing at the back of the room, eyes locked on her. His expression was a mixture of regret and admiration, and Aisha knew that their paths would intersect again. She could feel that this was just the beginning of something monumental. As her heart swelled with possibilities, Aisha took a deep breath, scanning the crowd. With so many eyes on her, she knew she was at a crossroads. Would she embrace this new journey, risking rejection for the chance at success? Or would she shy away, fearing the spotlight? One thing was for sure: there was no going back. As she prepared to address the crowd again, the atmosphere tingled with anticipation. Would her next move resonate as deeply as her last? The truth was, Aisha was on the verge of discovering not just her voice in music, but her voice in life. Aisha stood at the edge of the stage, her heart racing. The air was thick with excitement, and she could feel the buzz of anticipation crackling around her. She took a deep breath and adjusted the mic in front of her. This was her moment to shine, and she was ready. "Thank you all for your kind words and support," Aisha began, her voice steady yet carrying an undercurrent of emotion. "Today, I didn't just want to sing. I wanted to share a piece of me, a piece of all of us who feel unseen. The crowd leaned in, and she saw nods of understanding. With each word, she could feel their energy rising, feeding her determination. There are stories in our songs, stories in our struggles and triumphs. I've faced my own challenges, but music has always been my escape. Aisha paused, letting her gaze sweep across familiar faces, friends whose unwavering support fueled her courage. I want to write and perform songs that resonate, that inspire. Together, we can create something powerful. Marcus stood at the side, grinning with delight, as he clapped heartily. It felt like a shift. It felt like a declaration. Suddenly, she noticed the millionaire again. He was still watching her, and for a moment, their eyes met. She felt a spark of something. Was it recognition? Regret? Whatever it was, it pushed her to connect deeper, to put everything she had into her next words. Every note I sing is for the girl who felt invisible, for the boy who didn't feel like he belonged, for anyone who thinks their voice doesn't matter. But we matter. Our voices, our stories matter. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause, a wave of validation washing over her. She had them, she could feel their hearts echoing her own. Amidst the roar, Aisha noticed tears glimmering in Tia's eyes. That was all the encouragement she needed. She closed her eyes for a brief second, breathing in the energy around her. Then she began to sing a raw, unfiltered piece that flowed straight from her soul. The song told of longing, of hope, of dreams that were just out of reach but felt within her grasp. As the last note faded into the room, a hush fell over the audience. Then suddenly, they erupted again, standing on their feet, clapping, cheering her name. She felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. She felt alive. When Aisha finally stepped off the stage, her heart still raced. As she scanned the crowd, there were countless smiles and looks of admiration. But one face stood out: the millionaire, a total change of expression on his face. He approached her, his demeanor completely altered. "Aisha," he said, holding his hands up in a gesture of peace, "I need to apologize. I misjudged you. Your talent is undeniable." A ripple of surprise went through her. He had laughed before. He had seen her as nothing more than a translator, a voice lost in translation. But now, there was something deeper in his eyes, a complex mixture of respect and perhaps something she didn't yet understand. "Thank you," she replied cautiously. "It's just the beginning for me, and I want to do more. I want to represent my community." "I'd like to help you with that," he said, sincerity shining in his voice. "Let us talk about how we can elevate your music, your message. I believe in what you can create." The offer hung between them, heavy with possibility. Aisha's mind raced. What did this mean? Was she ready to take this step? She could feel the thrill of opportunity, and the weight of fear battling within her. Could she trust him? Before she could fully process his words, Tia appeared at her side, beaming. "Did you hear that? This is huge, Aisha. You have to consider it." Suddenly, the space felt small. Opportunities were sprouting like wildflowers, yet with them came fears of failure, of being misunderstood again. But the weight of the crowd's applause still resonated in her heart. It echoed the voices of those who needed her to succeed, who believed in her fiercely. "Okay," she said, determination flickering like a flame in her chest. "Let us talk." As they began to walk away from the crowd, Aisha felt a whirlwind of emotions. This was a chance at something greater, a step toward a dream she thought was too far. Would she dive into this chance, or would fear hold her back? Behind them, the room buzzed with energy, a reminder of the impact she could have. And among the cheers and conversations, the spotlight continued to warm her skin. What journey awaited her beyond this moment? Aisha clutched her heart, ready to embrace whatever came next. Aisha followed the millionaire, whose name she still didn't know, through the crowded room. The buzz of chatter faded into a dull roar in her ears, as they made their way toward a quieter corner. Tia hung back a little, exchanging glances of excitement with Marcus, who gave a supportive nod. "Let us find a place to sit," he suggested, steering Aisha towards a small round table tucked away in shadows. The sudden quiet enveloped them, allowing Aisha to gather her thoughts. She could feel the weight of his gaze, as if he was studying her like a masterpiece. "So, Aisha," he began, crossing his arms on the table, "you've got something special there." It was electric. "Thank you," she replied, struggling to hide her nerves. "I just wanted to share a part of myself, you know?" "Believe me, I felt it," he said with a nod. "It was more than just notes. You have the potential to reach people far beyond this stage. I'd like to help you do that." She bit her lip, unsure how to respond. What if this was just another empty promise? "How exactly do you plan to help me?" she asked cautiously. "I have connections in the industry," he replied, leaning in slightly. "Producers, songwriters, platforms. I could connect you with people who can turn your passion into something powerful. We could create music that tells your story, your community as stories." The idea was intoxicating, spinning in her mind like a whirlwind. This wasn't just a stroke of luck. It was a chance to turn her dreams into reality. But a flicker of doubt surfaced. "And what's in it for you?" she questioned, her gaze unwavering. He paused, his expression shifting. "You make it sound transactional. I genuinely believe in your talent, and in the need for diverse voices in music. This isn't charity. It's an investment in art that needs to be heard." Aisha studied him, searching for any sign of insincerity. But his eyes held a fire she hadn't expected. "Okay," she said, heart racing, "I'm interested. But I have my boundaries. I want to be just a way to boost your portfolio." "Understood," he assured her, his tone steady. "Your vision comes first. Let us work together to make it happen." Tia waved from their table, her excitement radiating, and Aisha couldn't help but smile at her friend's energy. A rush of warmth filled her, not just from the attention, but because deep down, she felt like she could finally chase a dream that had seemed impossible. "What about my community?" she asked. "I want them to be part of this. My songs need to reflect their struggles, their joys. I want to compromise that." "Absolutely," he replied, his voice firm. "I want you to keep that connection. A great artist doesn't forget where they come from. We'll make sure your story is front and center." Emotional gratitude surged through Aisha, filling her with a strange mix of hope and apprehension. Could she really trust him? Before she could voice her doubts, he added, "How about meeting my production team next week? We can brainstorm together, get their thoughts on your music." "It's a start." Aisha nodded slowly, excitement bubbling beneath her caution. She couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope as she thought about the possibilities. As they stood to leave the table, a flash of movement caught her eye. The Millionaire's assistant darted past them, a worried expression painting her face. Aisha's stomach twisted as she overheard a snippet of conversation. "We need to leave now. They're not happy about the decision." "What is going on?" Aisha asked, concern creeping into her voice. "Nothing to worry about," he said, brushing it off too casually. But Aisha could tell something was off. As they stepped out, uncertainty hung thick in the air, leaving Aisha wondering about the choices ahead. A chance for her passion, and yet, were there hidden dangers lurking just out of sight? Could this newfound opportunity bring her closer to her dreams, or could it pull her into a world she wasn't prepared for? The air outside the venue felt different, charged with anticipation and a slight chill. Aisha wrapped her arms around herself, trying to shake off the unease that lingered inside. The Millionaire stepped beside her with an ease that caught her off guard. He was calm, too calm, as if the assistant's panic hadn't touched him at all. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice warm but probing. "Yeah, just, what was that back there?" she asked, desperate for clarity. She needed assurance that this was just a fleeting moment of hope. It was probably nothing. Just some internal disagreements about the project, he dismissed with a wave of his hand. Internal disagreements? Aisha echoed, her heart thrumming. Does that happen often? His smile faltered for just a fraction of a second. In this world, yes. It's competitive. But let us not focus on that. Let us talk about you. Her instinct told her there was more beneath the surface. She forced herself to relax. Right, your offer. It's just a lot to take in. He nodded, genuine interest dancing in his dark eyes. The best opportunities often come with uncertainty. It's part of the journey. I want my journey to be real, not just a shiny facade, Aisha asserted, her resolve hardening. Music has to mean something. I agree completely, he replied, his expression softening. Your passion is the heartbeat of your art. We'll make sure it's authentic. With every word, she felt the vulnerable tendrils of hope beginning to sprout. It felt exhilarating yet terrifying. Before she could respond, Tia and Marcus came rushing out, their faces ablaze with excitement. Aisha, Tia shouted, practically bouncing on her toes. You did amazing. I can't believe you caught his attention like that. Aisha, Marcus chimed in, this could be the start of something incredible. Just remember to stay true to yourself. Their encouragement enveloped her like a warm blanket. As they walked toward a waiting car, Aisha glanced back at the venue. The bright lights reflected her own flickering ambition, the promise of possibility shimmering in every direction. Are you ready for this? The millionaire asked, breaking her reverie. Absolutely, she said, the weight of her dreams dawning on her. But I need more than just mentorship. I want to build something that lasts with my community alongside me. His nod was resolute. Then let us get to work. The industry needs voices like yours. As they slid into the car, a strange group dynamic formed. Tia and Marcus peppered the millionaire with questions while Aisha leaned against the window, lost in thought. The view blurred by the city lights became a mesmerizing tapestry. What if this wasn't just about her? What if it amplified the voices of everyone who had believed in her? Suddenly, the car came to a halting stop. A frantic voice broke through her musings. Sir, we need to go. Now! The assistant reappeared at the vehicle window, a sense of urgency etched on her face. Aisha's stomach dropped as the tension crackled in the air. The millionaire turned serious, his normally composed demeanor slipping. What is it? He pressed, concern evident. There has been a change in plans. She hesitated, glancing around. We should really, the millionaire cursed under his breath, his eyes hardening. We're not done here. I want to let them intimidate me. Aisha's heart raced, a sudden chill running down her spine. Was this the life she was stepping into? Uncertainty loomed over her like a storm cloud, overshadowing the excitement she had felt just moments before. As they pulled away from the venue, doubt crept back in. Could she navigate this chaotic new world? Was stepping into the light worth the shadows that trailed behind? The weight of the question pulsed against her chest like a drumbeat, echoing the very rhythm she desperately wanted to share. The engine roared to life, cutting through the tension that gripped the car. Aisha's palms dampened against her jeans as she felt the million-dollar man beside her transform before her eyes. He wasn't the calm mentor from before anymore. Now, a crease formed between his brows, a sure sign of the storm brewing beneath his polished facade. Go, he commanded, his voice firm as the assistant hastily guided the driver. As the car surged into the night, Aisha turned to look at Tia and Marcus. Their glances mirrored her unease, but also a flicker of excitement. Did they sense what was brewing? What is going on? Tia whispered. It was a question everyone held but no one voiced. Just some complications, the millionaire replied tersely, unwilling to share. Aisha sensed his hesitance. It was as if the shadows were drawing closer, inescapable, and she was caught in the middle of it. The city unfolded around them, the lights shimmering against the glass. But she couldn't focus on the beauty outside. Her mind raced with what lay ahead. What if this wasn't just about music? What if it meant navigating through chaos, turning uncertainty into something tangible? Suddenly, the millionaire's phone buzzed, its shrill chime cutting through the silence. He picked it up sharply. As he glanced at the screen, she could see tension line his jaw. "No, I'll handle it. I don't want any more surprises tonight." Aisha's heart began to thrum again, the worry intertwining with the thrill of potential. "What surprises?" she asked, her voice tentatively pushing through the air like a shy flame. He caught her eye, the crinkles in his forehead softening momentarily. "Just things that shouldn't be happening at this stage. People trying to undermine what we're building." Undermining? The word echoed. Could she trust him? Or was he just another player in a larger game? Aisha swallowed hard. "Is it dangerous?" "Not for you," he replied, an edge in his tone. "But it shows how badly some people want to protect their interests." Marcus leaned forward, concern etched on his face. "What kind of interests?" "Let us just say some people don't take lightly to outsiders shaking up their status quo." The truth washed over Aisha like a cold wave. She was an outsider. She had always been. And now, could she be the one shaking things up? Aisha held her breath. The car took a sharp turn, and her body swayed against the seat. She captured a fleeting view of the world spinning past people, unaware of her impending journey, lives entangled in battles she was about to join. "Whatever happens, don't be afraid to speak up." The millionaire's voice cut through her thoughts again, pulling her out from the depths of uncertainty. "You have a voice. Use it." The words stirred something deep within her, an urge to rise above, to claim her space in the industry. She bit her lip, staring at the passing reflections in the window. "Do you really think I can change anything?" she breathed, almost to herself. "Absolutely." He met her gaze with a fierce intensity that sent a fizzing spark of courage through her veins. The car slowed again. Aisha saw only dark shadows ahead, but with each moment, they felt less daunting. She understood, for the first time, the weight of her dreams could shift the world around her, and she wasn't alone even in the darkest of times. "Get ready," the assistant said. "We're here." Aisha's heart danced nervously, but beneath it all, a flicker of hope ignited. What awaited her? Would this truly be the moment she found her voice amid turmoil? As the car doors swung open into the night, a question lingered. Was she ready for the battle ahead, one that could either break her or set her free? Aisha stepped out of the car, a wave of cool night air washing over her, mixing with the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The glow of neon lights surrounded her, vibrant and pulsing, like a heartbeat of the city she had longed to conquer. But this wasn't just a backdrop. It felt like the stage of her life, and she was finally ready to perform. Her eyes darted around the scene. People mingled outside a sleek venue, laughter blending with the distant beat of music. There was an electrifying energy, almost tangible, sparking hope in her chest. But still, the shadows of doubt lingered by her side, whispering fears of inadequacy. "Stay close," the millionaire instructed, his presence solid beside her. His confidence was a shield she desperately needed. Aisha nodded, determination written across her face. "Can you hear it?" Tia's excitement broke through the tension. That's the sound of opportunity. Her eyes sparkled with the same fire Aisha felt within. They exchanged smiles, unspoken words of shared dreams. As they entered the venue, the atmosphere changed. The music nearly enveloped them, a symphony of voices and instruments that ignited every sense. Aisha's heart drummed in time with the beat. Here, she was no longer just the girl from nowhere, she was a performer, a creator ready to carve her place in this chaotic world. But her thoughts were interrupted by the millionaire as he turned to Marcus and Tia. "You two stay close, watch for any signs. Aisha and I need to get some introductions out of the way." He walked with her deeper into the crowd. Every corner held a new face. Every step brought fleeting glances of encouragement and skepticism alike. It was overwhelming but intoxicating, and she couldn't help but feel the sparks of possibilities all around her. "So what is the plan?" Aisha asked, trying to mask her trepidation. "Meet a few key people, make a lasting impression," he replied casually, though the flicker of seriousness in his gaze remained. But his tone shifted slightly. "Be careful. People wear masks in this world." "Like in a game?" Aisha pressed, her curiosity piqued. "Exactly. And sometimes, those masks hide their true intentions." He paused, his expression unreadable. She could sense the weight of hidden alliances and backstories swirling around her, like ghosts between the conversations and laughter. Yet, she felt a surge of courage building within her, fueled by his words. "Then I'll just have to play the best game I can," she said firmly. "Let us hope it's more than just a game," he replied, a hint of pride lacing his words. Suddenly, a loud laugh echoed in their direction, drawing their attention to a group of industry executives gathered near a polished bar. One man, a tall figure with a broad smile, caught Aisha's eye. He had an unmistakable aura of authority, the kind that could easily intimidate. "Let us introduce you," the millionaire said, guiding her forward. Aisha's steps wavered for a heartbeat. What if he laughed? What if he dismissed her talent without a second thought? But the words they had exchanged rang in her head, pushing her forward. "Stay open," he encouraged. "Let them know you're here." As they approached, the murmurs paused. Eyes turned toward her. The laughter faded, replaced by a palpable expectation. In that moment, the tiny voice of doubt shouted, but she drowned it out with her own determination. "Good evening," the millionaire said, exuding confidence. "I'd like you all to meet Aisha. She has something unique to share." The group shifted, curiosity piqued. Aisha's heart raced. She could either shrink back or rise up. She drew a deep breath, feeling the energy around her shift. "Hello everyone, I'm Aisha," she said, her voice stronger than she felt. "And I think it's time for me to show you just how unique I really am." The silence stretched as they awaited her next move. Would she surprise them? Would she prove that she was more than just an outsider? And in that charged moment, anything felt possible. Would she find her rhythm in this daunting world, or would fear pull her back into the shadows? Aisha felt every eye upon her, a mix of curiosity and judgment that made her pulse quicken. The air was thick with anticipation, but she pushed the anxiety deep down. This was her chance to flip the script not just for herself, but for everyone who felt like an outsider. With the warmth of determination shining through her, she took a bold step forward. "I know what it feels like to be overlooked," Aisha began, her voice clear and steady. "But I also know what it takes to rise. I've spent years learning, creating, dreaming." One of the executives, a stern woman with sharp features, raised an eyebrow. "And what is it that you plan to share with us, Aisha?" The skepticism in her tone hung heavy in the air. Aisha swallowed hard. "A story." The confidence in those words surprised her. "Not just any story. It's about perseverance, about breaking barriers. And I plan to do it through my art." A murmuring rippled through the crowd, a blend of doubt and interest. The millionaire subtly nodded in encouragement, his eyes glinting with a mix of pride and anticipation. She had taken the leap, now came the real test of her courage. "Art?" The man with the broad smile, the one who had initially caught her eye, leaned closer, intrigued. "What kind of art are we talking about here?" "Poetry, performance. A way to connect emotions and experience," Aisha replied, warming to her topic now that she could see a flicker of interest. I believe everyone has a story, and sharing mine might just resonate with some of you. A voice from the back of the crowd piped up. You think you can captivate us with poetry? Yes, she said, her heart racing faster. Language is powerful. It can ignite a fire within us. The tension in the air shifted slightly as she spoke. She could feel the barrier of doubt crack just a little. Let me show you, she continued, taking a deep breath. When I was younger, I found solace in words. They became my refuge, my weapon against the world that often seemed so unwelcoming. Allow me to share a piece of that journey with you. No longer waiting for anyone else's approval, Aisha took center stage. She started to recite a poem she had written, her voice warming and resonant, each word bursting forth with passion. She painted images of struggle, triumph, and a relentless pursuit of her dreams, and those of so many others. Gradually, the crowd began to lean in, enchanted by the rhythm of her words. Sparks of recognition flared in their eyes. That's when she saw it, a softening, a shift from judgment to reflection. People who once wore cold masks of skepticism were slowly peeling them away. When she finished, silence engulfed the room. And then the applause erupted. It wasn't just polite, this was genuine appreciation. The tall man smiled wider now, his eyes shining with respect. I didn't expect that, he admitted, nodding slowly. You've got something special, Aisha. Something that can break through all those masks. Aisha felt a swell of joy bloom within her. This was what she had hoped for. Not just acceptance, but connection. As the applause echoed in her ears, a flood of emotion surged. But before she could bask too long in her triumph, the millionaire leaned in closer, tipping his head toward the exit. Hold on, he whispered urgently. We need to talk to them, to seize this moment. Aisha nodded, but her mind raced. Had she truly captured their attention? Would it be enough to open doors? Just then, she caught the eye of the stern woman. There was an expectation there, a curiosity that hinted at something more. What if this was just the beginning? Aisha thought. As they moved through the crowd, she felt a tinge of excitement. A possibility. But then she heard it, the woman's voice cutting through the chatter. I must admit, I wouldn't mind seeing more, she said, turning toward Aisha with that same piercing gaze. What else do you have in store for us? Aisha's heart raced at the challenge. What else could she reveal? Was this just the beginning of an exciting new chapter, or did she have the courage to delve even deeper into her extraordinary journey? As they walked, Aisha couldn't shake the feeling that this was merely the opening act in a much larger performance yet to unfold. Aisha felt a thrill rush through her, a mix of exhilaration and nerves as she left the stage behind. The crowd was alive with chatter, but all she could focus on was the stern woman's gaze, still fixed on her. It was a challenge, one she wasn't ready to back down from. What else? Aisha murmured under her breath, thinking about the pieces she held back. She always reserved certain writings for moments when she felt utterly safe. But today felt different. Today, she was ready to push her boundaries. The millionaire walked beside her, his presence steadying. You've got them interested, he said, glancing back at the murmuring crowd. But now you have to deepen that interest. Show them your layers. Layers, Aisha repeated thoughtfully. Just beyond those walls of initial judgment, she could feel the potential for something profound. She couldn't show everything at once, she needed to keep them intrigued, yet reveal enough to make them feel. What if I share about my roots? How they shape my voice? She suggested, glancing at the millionaire. His nod was encouraging, so she decided to forge ahead. As they reached a small, intimate conference room away from the main event, Aisha felt the atmosphere shift. It was quieter here, more personal. The executives followed, curiosity flickering in their eyes. Thank you for allowing me another chance to share, Aisha began, grounding herself. I grew up in a neighborhood where dreams often seemed out of reach. My parents worked hard, and the world around us didn't always reflect those efforts. But within that struggle, I found poems that spoke my truth. She could see heads nodding, the walls starting to drop. Aisha pressed on. Here's a piece inspired by a moment in my life, a time when I almost lost hope but found my voice instead. With each line, she breathed life into her words. The imagery danced in the air, lifting emotions and connecting her past to the present. Each pause drew the audience closer, their expressions shifting from skepticism to empathy. There was a palpable energy in the room now. Even the stern woman seemed softened, her arms crossed but her stance less rigid. Aisha could feel power building. The connection she craved was taking root. As she finished, the room resonated with silence once again. Aisha felt her heartbeat thrumming in her ears, a mixture of fear and anticipation hanging in the air. The tall man, full of surprise, finally broke the silence. "Wow, it's incredible. You capture hardship and resilience so beautifully. It's not just any poetry, it's powerful." The stern woman was next. "You've transformed pain into art. Many people won't understand that depth unless they've lived it." Her gaze met Aisha's, and there was sincerity behind it, an unspoken appreciation. With every encouraging word, Aisha felt the doors of possibility swing open wider. What if you were to perform at our upcoming event? Share this story with a larger audience? The millionaire suggested, a twinkle in his eye. Aisha's breath caught. An event? The magnitude of what he proposed sent her heart racing but also filled her with doubt. "I'm just getting started. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that." "Ready or not," the man reiterated, "your words can change lives. I almost believe they could change the world." Aisha took a moment to digest his words. Was she really ready to take that leap? Right now, it felt monumental, but somewhere deep inside, she realized this was the chance she had been waiting for, a moment that could echo through time. "I'll consider it," Aisha said, determination swirling within her. But as she turned to send a final glance at the crowd, another thought struck her right before she shut the door. What if she could ignite the voices of others like her? What if this was an opportunity to unite stories, to empower those who felt unheard? Her heart thumped with excitement, and fear mingled together. Would they join her? Just then, she heard a voice call from the back, "What about us, Aisha? What about our stories?" An unexpected wave of emotion washed over her. Could it be? This moment could be more significant than she ever imagined. "Let us find out," Aisha replied, a smile spreading across her face. But was she ready to lead this movement? Or would it spiral into something far greater than just her own journey? The thought lingered, filling her with both hope and uncertainty. Aisha took a deep breath, the weight of potential hanging heavily in the air. The room was buzzing with anticipation, and she could feel the eyes of the executives on her. She stepped back, feeling the energy of the moment surge like a wave, ready to crash. "Let us amplify those stories," she declared, her voice ringing with newfound conviction. The words tumbled out of her, almost as if they had been waiting for this moment to escape. "Let us bring together voices that often go unheard and create art that resonates with everyone." The crowd erupted with murmurs, a mix of astonishment and intrigue cascading around the room. Even the stern woman's expression shifted, her skepticism wavering under the embers of Aisha's passion. "Now, that's interesting," she said, her interest piqued. "How do you propose we do that?" Aisha's mind raced. Could she really pull this off? But she felt the warmth of her community behind her, their stories urging her on. Through art showcases, community collaborations, and, yes, even music festivals that celebrate our diversity. "I want to curate experiences where everyone feels they belong, where we can all share, learn, and grow." Marcus and Tia, standing nearby, exchanged looks filled with pride. They could see her spark ignite, illuminating not only her own dreams, but the dreams of many others. "Let us do it," Marcus chimed in, his voice booming with enthusiasm. "Aisha's right. Imagine a series of performances that tell our stories, where each artist brings their unique flavor." The tall man nodded, a smile breaking across his features. "That could be an extraordinary platform. Highlighting underrepresented voices could create waves across the industry." Seizing the moment, Aisha felt a rush of hope flood her. "We can make this happen. I want to ensure artists from my neighborhood have a platform to express their music, their truth. This isn't just about me anymore. It's about everyone." Cheers erupted from the crowd, the energy swelling as ideas took flight. The executives looked at one another, excitement shifting among them. Was this conference evolving into something more, a catalyst for change? In the back, the millionaire's face softened, admiration glinting in his eyes. "Aisha, this is courageous. You're not just aiming for success, you're building a movement." Tears blurring her sight, Aisha took a moment to breathe it all in. This was the transformation she had dreamed of, from a girl who once felt invisible to a catalyst sparking change. "Together, we can create a legacy," she said, her voice steady. "Let us reach out to schools, community centers. Let us engage the next generation of artists. They need to know their stories matter." Nods of agreement filled the room, like a ripple of realization spreading from her heart to theirs. Aisha felt it, a shared dream, a collective heartbeat igniting the air. Suddenly, a voice called out from the back, "Count me in, Aisha. I want to share my story too." "Me too," shouted another. A chorus of voices joined in, a beautiful cacophony echoing their shared eagerness to be a part of something greater. Overwhelmed, Aisha's heart swelled with joy. She glanced at Tia, who was wiping tears away, and Marcus, whose grin was wide. They had all fought for this moment together, and now it was blossoming into something magnificent. As the room buzzed with excitement about the future, Aisha felt light, free. She had turned judgment into acceptance, skepticism into support. This was just the beginning. With renewed determination, she declared, "Let us make this happen, one voice at a time. Together, we will shift the narrative and inspire change." The applause that followed felt like a wave crashing against her, revitalizing, uplifting, and fierce. As she stood there, surrounded by support and newfound promise, Aisha knew this journey was just getting started. She was no longer just a girl from Atlanta. She was now a powerful voice, a beacon illuminating others on their paths to discovery. A leap into the unknown had forged a path, one that led not just to her dreams, but also to a community longing for a chance to be heard. And that's how a small spark transformed into a roaring flame, a movement rooted in authentic stories that reverberated beyond walls, reaching hearts across every corner of the country. So, believe in your passion, embrace the shadows, for every step you take could ripple through generations. Now, the next chapter awaited her. Aisha closed her eyes, feeling the heartbeat of her community resonating, thrilling her with endless possibilities. And in that moment, standing tall and proud, she embraced it all: her mission, her people, her story. You need to subscribe now to follow Aisha's powerful journey and watch as this movement unfolds. This is the moment to show your support by hitting that like button now. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about how Aisha ignited change. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your support means everything.